Do you remember who got you into loving pro wrestling? For me, it was my father. My name is Arik Cannon, formerly known on the internet as Tubby Emu. On July 15th, my father passed away. The same father that, because of him, I created this channel right here, Teaming Tubby Emu, which was always about the love of professional wrestling. Actually, when I first started, I tried to do Call of Duty. And then I wormed my way into wrestling. My father used to wake me up to watch WCW reruns in the morning because he worked a 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. job. So we'd get home and I was apparently one when he would wake me up and hear the stories of it. My dad would always mention people like Verne Gagne and Arik Cannon that represented the local Minneapolis scene, and that embedded in my head, and I'm going to bring it up later because there's a local wrestling promotion here that my dad fell in love with local wrestling and loved it. He just wanted to go. He fell in love with the storylines. He fell in love with the psychology. He could tell me things like the Nick Bockwinkel versus Dusty Rhodes match, what happened, the upper class. He got it, man. But I always looked at my dad as that crazy dude that you couldn't give him the time of day. Just like, I think a lot of people have this assumption of me that I have an ego or I have this thing in me because when I was the largest wrestling channel on YouTube, people thought I may have been a money whore. I had an ego. I was trying to get stuff. But the problem is, you're all wrong. My father was one of the greatest persons I ever knew. He fixed video games in bars. So bars would have pokers, jukeboxes, video games, things like that. They would break, they would call my dad. My dad would show up and he would knew how to interact with drunk people. He could talk to them, he could razz them, he could make them feel good. And he fell in love with pro wrestling and he would tell me those stories about Verne and Arik Cannon. When I was most popular on YouTube, there was a promotion here, right here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, that was growing, that eventually grew to be what I consider the AWA, the Minneapolis area now, is First Wrestling. Something that became so big and synonymous and sells out that I can't get tickets to because I don't plan ahead. My life is not in order. My life is in shambles. And the one thing I love is pro wrestling. So when my father passes and I finally just want to go to local wrestling events, but I got to work because when I was the most popular and I could go to YouTube events or wrestling events or... Do you know what it feels like to know your dad is the biggest fan of wrestling and you've got to go to WrestleManias, the WWE Performance Center? You never once asked him if he wanted an autograph, if he ever needed anything. You never invited him. The guy that got you into loving professional wrestling because you were so caught up with trying to pay the bills and make money and just grow. But then everybody else accuses you, especially the local promotions, when your father passes away and you just want to go to local wrestling. You just want to help out in any way possible. And your girlfriend has to remind you, you're probably seeming like a big city slicker. They have a good old boys club. You're coming in like, I can help. And they're like, sure, Jan, like from the Brady Bunch. But that's not what I'm trying to do. I actually apologize to the Verne Gagne of our area, Arik Cannon. Arik Cannon, if you don't know who he is, he deserves his flowers, and I will goddamn make sure I can do whatever I can to help that. Because for me, Arik Cannon is going to be my Verne Gagne stories my dad told. In 2015, I reached out to Arik Cannon, and I apologized to Arik Cannon recently for saying, hey man, I'm sorry for trying to get free tickets and everything else. He's like, yeah man, I had to pay the boys, there was no hard feelings, like nobody got a free ticket. And I started to apologize, gaslighting myself, thinking I asked him for free tickets. But the funny thing is, after hearing these other gatekeepers from local smaller promotions who work there who think I'm trying to weasel my way in for free stuff or access, oh, we've got guys to do that. Well, you want to know what? When I was on top and I was the largest channel and I could have done anything, I reached out to First Wrestling. And in my head, I thought he ignored me, and Arik Cannon responded back, our YouTube is bare bones. What could you do? I'd love help. And that was the year WWE 2K15 came out and killed my channel. I gave up on content. Chris Danker took over. And I was just trying to pay the bills. And you can't pay the bills on local content because local content is for you. It's for the love of the game. It's for what all those fans shout at you. Like, just come and have fun. Stop trying to make it into something. What I'm trying to get out of these shows is something you can't provide, guys. Chris, Eric, anybody from Time Bomb, anybody that thinks I'm after something? No. I was a 500-pound kid who had all the opportunities in the wrestling world to get to work with some of the biggest promotions in the world, and I pissed away every opportunity. And my local promotion that was in town, after I helped Booker T's Reality of Wrestling grow their YouTube channel, and then I went back to myself. And then I offer First Wrestling help, and they actually said yes. Arik Cannon responds back enthusiastically. And like typical me, I don't follow through. I ballooned up in weight. I got even fatter. I made promises to people, telling people like Jay the Key Evans out at GTS Wrestling I'd manage him in a wrestling ring one day, and never once did he say, sure. Jay enthusiastically believed in me every step of the way. I get an opportunity to ring announce my best friend's promotion, which is nepotism in its finest. I did not deserve to be booked on DPW just because I lived with them. DPW did what Arik Cannon did here. They rooted out the nepotism. You earned your spot. Promotions like DPW and First Wrestling are what I want to work with. I will never piss away another opportunity because now I don't have an option. He's watching me. And my dad knew that I effed around a lot and I didn't follow through. So if you've watched my channel for this long, you need to know I was 500 pounds. I was overweight. I was eating unhealthy. I couldn't focus. I would start a project and stop because I wasn't going to get paid for it. And now I'm out door dashing and Instacarting and making senior citizens' lives and enjoying what I do. And I just want to love professional wrestling and do whatever I can. So in that same email from 2015, when I said wrestlers like Rennie D, 8 years ago, I put over Rennie D. Rennie D, if you don't know, is a local independent wrestler, and he's the founder of Fit Butters. You can try Fit Butters at fitbutters.com. If you have a Hy-Vee in your area, you can go and try them out. They're in the health market aisle. Why am I mentioning him? Is this a product placement? No. Rennie D, when I was over 400 pounds, gave me the time of day. He never looked at me like I was anything less. You know, like we treat our own wrestling fans. We crap on them for being overweight, not wearing deodorant. But then we preach that all fans are welcome. Do you know why I thought First Wrestling, why I thought Arik Cannon didn't give me tickets and why I couldn't mentally buy a ticket? I was 375 pounds and the only show I went to locally when I was that fat, I bent the chair. So when you have First Wrestling fans mansplaining to me, it's the culture, you just gotta come here and have fun. Yeah, but you know the culture I want to bring? My father who died, who said, buddy, I knew I did this to myself. I chose to drink sugared soda. I chose not to work out. I'm not here because I'm getting taken early. I made those choices. Well, guess what? I'm making those choices. And that kid you saw on YouTube that got overweight, that got big, that put aside fitness no more. I'm not going to sound as annoying as a vegan trying to push a lifestyle, but I would be doing my father, First Wrestling, and everything I love a disservice if I just put my head down and gave up. My father got me into professional wrestling. He will never get to see me in a wrestling ring. But you're goddamn fooling yourself. Because when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it even if it takes 10 years and it takes hashtag the payoff. I am Eric Emanuel. I've made promises to people in this business. Rennie D, Mikey Banker, Josh Fuller, and Real Jay the Key Evans. From this day forward, I'm going to bust my ass. I'm going to work out. I'm going to do everything I can. And one day you will see me in that wrestling ring. So I can help make memories for the fans like my dad helped instill in me. So I don't expect a handout. I'm not trying to get in the door. I'm going to bust down the goddamn door and you're not going to have an option but to book us. And that's just going to be the payoff. Until I see you in a ring soon, my name is Eric, and God damn it, you're going to enunciate that E. Emmanuel. Dad? I can't wait to tell you, or watch you tell Greg Gagne what a piece of shit he is, because it's nepotism. And Verne just booked him to win. I mean, kind of like Arik Cannon does to Darren Corbin, because Darren Corbin is the Greg Gagne of this area. Until next time, we'll see you in a wrestling ring.